Gaborone. I am Khomotso Mapani. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Dr. Hage arrives in Namibia for a 3-day working visit. Okavango Research Institute advocates for capacitation of communities to maximize tourism benefits. And in sport, the Zebras knocked out of the COSAFA Cup following a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Mozambique. Interpreting in sign language is Topo Taposa. Good evening. The President, Dr. Hage, and the Vice President, Mr. Slamba Tsohwane, arrived in Swakopmund, Namibia this afternoon ahead of a working visit that came at the invitation of Namibian President, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba. While in Namibia, President Masisi will, among other engagements, deliver a keynote address at Swakopmund International Trade Expo tomorrow. His other engagements include bilateral engagements with his Namibian counterpart on regional and global matters of mutual interest, including review of progress in existing areas of cooperation such as agriculture, transport, telecommunications, defense, and security. Still with the President, Dr. Hage has condoled with the Mtimkulu family following the passing of their mother, Mrs. Kabo Victoria Molefe. President Masisi was accompanied by the Vice President, Mr. Slamba Tsohwane, and other senior government officials. The late Ms. Molefe is mother to the Minister of Environment and Tourism, Mr. Dumzeni Mtimkulu. The 79-year-old Molefe died on Saturday following a short illness. She is survived by 7 children and will be laid to rest this Saturday in Gwaning. We do apologize for the lack of sound there. Now, moving on, the President, Dr. Hage, expressed his gratitude to the former President of Mozambique, Dr. Joaquim Chissano, for not only accepting his invitation, but also for delivering an insightful tribute to the first President of Botswana, Seretse Khama, during a commemoration held in Gaborone yesterday. President Masisi says his visit enhanced the rich history between the two countries, dating back to pre-independence and notably during the liberation struggle. Dr. Chissano acknowledged Botswana's role in liberating Mozambique by providing refuge to liberation icon Samora Machel in Francistown and later on in Lobatse. While in the country, Dr. Chissano visited and engaged with former President Dr. Festus Mogae. Dr. Chissano said as Botswana will be heading to the polls in October, it is important to conduct a free and fair election. President Dr. Hage says Botswana has offered to host the 3rd UN Conference on Landlocked Developing Countries in December this year. He was speaking during a courtesy call by the Under-Secretary General and High Representative for the Least Developed Countries, LDCs, Landlocked Developing Countries, LLDCs, and Small Island Developing States, SIDS, Ms. Rabab Fatima, who commended President Masisi on behalf of the United Nations for the unwavering support, as well as agreeing to host the conference. The 3rd UN Conference on LLDCs offers a chance to explore solutions and forge partnerships addressing challenges and unlocking their full potential for a more equitable and prosperous future. Botswana is currently the chair of the LLDCs, therefore hosting this conference will be a milestone for the country since it will be hosted in Africa for the first time. Hosting of the conference in Botswana means the UN General Assembly for this subject matter will move to Gaborone, where the final declaration will be adopted as the Gaborone Program of Action. The conference is further estimated to attract over 30 heads of state and will be graced by UN Secretary General The Deputy Secretary General and the heads of UN agencies and programs and more than 2,000 participants from across the globe.
You have got tremendous convening power, which I saw in COP last year, where you were able to bring all those leaders to the room. And I'm also grateful to you. I mean, because of we have now in the new program of action a priority area on climate change, the unique challenges of the climate change of the landlocked countries. And Excellency, just to let you know that we have the new program of action, which has been agreed by the General Assembly, by the PrepCom last year, and it will be formally gavelled in Habarone. And I have to commend the leadership of your ambassador and her team in leading the LLDC group in the negotiations, and you can be proud of this new program of action. There is a clear deliverable asking for a new funding mechanism for the LLDCs for their infrastructure. There is, for instance, asking the Secretary General to set up a high-level panel to look into the freedom of transit of LLDCs. So there are many such very good deliverables. So you can be very proud, sir. This will be the new program of action for the next 10 years for the LLDCs. There is a lot of excitement. So after we go back, the Secretary General will be sending out the new invitation to the heads of states and governments, to all UN member states.
Farmers have been urged to adopt new technologies that will help boost production and also mitigate the effects of climate change. The remarks were made by the District Agricultural Coordinator for the Tlhakeng, Mr. Thomas Tadubana, when officiating at the Motokwe Integrated Show recently. Lucky to think.
Motokwe Integrated Show was first launched in 2017, and the event is a partnership between community and Motokwe Farmers Association. This year, there were very few exhibitors attributed to the effects of drought, which has started to take a toll on some farmers. We should now pursue new farming methods that will help us boost our farming production because our country is drought prone. We should therefore adopt smart farming to mitigate the effects of climate change. The farmers in the Tlhakeng area are facing numerous challenges. There is a type of grass called Syncras perflora here in Motokwe, which makes our farming almost impossible. So we are calling for the Agricultural Department to carry out a research on how to control this weed. We have already carried out a demonstration on how to control that grass. There is a chemical that can be sprayed where it grows numerous times in order to control its spreading. The youth were also encouraged to venture into farming and also to draw an inspiration from the Khansi Show, which shows considerable growth each year. If a young person wants to venture into farming, first of all, he must have passion. That's the most important thing you must have to succeed in farming. This year, we were expecting to host the President of Rwanda, but due to other commitments, he is unable to come. But that should be proof of how big is the Khansi Show. It continues to attract people from outside the country. For instance, at the upcoming show, we are expecting visitors from the Royal Scottish Agricultural Association. We didn't even invite them. They just heard about us through a word of mouth. So it's all about good management that makes Khansi Show what it is. However, government continues to promote collaborations of key stakeholders through value chain development within the agricultural space to unlock more opportunities that will help to create jobs for Botswana. Lucky to think, PTV News.
Local communities need to be capacitated for them to derive maximum benefits from the tourism industry. The director of the Okavango Research Institute, Professor Joseph Mbaiwa, said this when addressing the media in Maung during a tour to appreciate how trophy hunting benefits rural communities. Maranyane Samakata.
The Northwest District is rich in natural resources, being wild animals, birds, water sources and vegetation. Through the community-based natural resource management program, communities have been collecting revenue from trophy hunting and photographic tourism. Professor Mbaiwa says that communities could perform even better with the necessary skills.
These guys have the necessary
Tourists are usually from the international community, and our people do not have the necessary entrepreneurship skills nor the marketing skills for them to go to the UK or America to market themselves. The lack of that skill is a challenge to their businesses. With regard to management skills, you need to know that the tourism industry brings in millions, and our people are not learned enough for them to handle such large sums of money. There is a lot of misappropriation and misuse.
There's a lot of misappropriation, misuse.
Communities continue to benefit from photographic tourism and trophy hunting. We build houses for the elderly. We give out tertiary sponsorships. We give elderly and orphans a monthly allowance of 700 pula.
Trust. Rihama siela 700 khwello khwedi. Kaone madi.
Rnale go ka tsengetsa batho metsi mo motse di standpipe le trust motse mongwe le mongwe ra go kela motse ke ra household re tsengetsa metsi. Ongoing project.
We connect water for each household free of charge. We have an ongoing project to build a toilet for each household. We have an ongoing project to wire each household for power connectivity. We also have an arrangement where people can apply for tertiary sponsorships on a yearly basis. People can apply for sponsorships at any institution of their choice. They bring quotations and we pay. It goes together with a monthly living allowance.
On yearly basis, we sponsorship from the trust. We coupela from school so sabata. The quotation of a trustee who the monthly allowance.
Besides revenue creation, trophy hunting is considered an efficient mechanism that controls the populations of wild animals that continue to frustrate any farming efforts by communities in the district. Maranyane Samakata, BTV News, Maung.
Puruhudi residents say they are troubled by wild animals that frustrate farming activities in their area. They said this is a setback for their farming efforts. Marayane Samakata continues.
Puruhudi village is a home to the Basora tribe in between two parks, being Makarekhadi and Ngaipen. Almost 80% of residents here are beneficiaries of social welfare programs as they do not have any formal employment. However, efforts to sustain their lives are futile due to damage caused by wildlife. The council has given us cattle and small stock for sustenance and dug out a water hole where they mounted water tanks for us to water our livestock. These tanks are under constant attacks by elephants. Nothing has been spared from attacks by elephants. Even wildlife personnel in this area are deeply troubled by elephants at their houses as there is no fence. We had come up with mechanisms to stop them, but we have realized that they are smart creatures as they dig out elephant-proof concrete and continue with the destruction. Our crops have not been spared. They devour everything.
Ja bo sala we poteri o bonna hela yanong kra gore ke tsenyo e tona hela tota e dirang tsenyo tona ke tona tota e dirwa ke tsone ditou.
The director of Okavango Human Wildlife Foundation, Mr. Ginusi Kamina, says that it is important to educate people on how to coexist with the wildlife.
Ra bona gore ne le khotala gore how best we can create awareness.
We saw it fit to have an organization that can teach people on how to coexist with wild animals, to teach them on what to expect and how to behave around wild animals. Most of the people here are farmers. They go out looking for their livestock and encounter wild animals. They go out looking for food at the river, and the same river is a water source for wild animals and a habitat for creatures like crocodiles. Trophy hunting is considered to be one mechanism that is efficient in controlling animal populations, as high volumes of big mammals such as elephants can be detrimental to the environment, people, and other mammal species. Maranyane Samagata, BTV News, Puduhudu.
Farmers have been urged to utilize government initiatives aimed at boosting production and to find reliable markets as a way of maximizing value out of them. This was said by the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Fidelis Molau, during a farmers' summit held in Shashamoke recently. Abigail Madorobo.
The recently launched Tuole Toto consists of 30 packages aimed at helping aspiring livestock farmers' new businesses as well as boosting existing ones. In view of facilitating robust and profitable businesses, Minister Molau urged farmers to manage their businesses well and keep them afloat.
A lot of times we fail, especially small scale.
We just use business money impulsively without recording profit and loss, inputs and outputs. Even when we apply for funding from organizations like SIDA, our applications become unsuccessful because of imbalance and gaps in our records.
You don't document. You are unable to detail your profit and loss, the inputs and the outputs. Then you go we don't document, we don't keep our books intact.
Livestock and arable farming enterprises are said to be grappling with varied challenges.
Challenges that we face in the northern side.
Foot and mouth disease is the biggest challenge in the northern part of the country because of the close proximity to the neighboring country Zimbabwe, where it is rife and tormenting farmers. We also experience shortage of underground water.
And mostly that challenge, the other challenge we face is issue of water. Unlike south. The northern side of the country, underground water. Mostly our paper sidiba. If you are lucky, you go above 5 cubic. Mostly is less than 5 cubic. Of which at times retusha ka wana re baosa.
Most farmers lack proper business management skills, and this results in them making big losses in their businesses.
Janu itlha gore motho o simolotse temo and then a ba tsama go ya go nna go le go sele a sena kitso e maleba kgotsa e ka mothusang gore a kgone gore a nne le maungo a rileng.
Farmers were asked to change their mindset and work together to produce enough food in the country. Abigail Madorobo, BTV News, Shashamoke.
Moving on, the acting director at the Ministry of Youth, Gender, Sport and Culture, Mr. Tsepoli Tswiti, says the annual Tapowa cultural event contributes to their mandate of supporting the arts through culture and sporting events. Mr. Tswiti said to support and develop this event, the ministry has contributed 115,000 pula towards the event. He was speaking at the Tapowa event hosted by the Okavango Kopano Mokoro Community Trust, OKMCT, at Kakaba over the weekend. President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi has declared 2023-2024 an extreme drought year following poorly distributed rainfall. A A press release from the Ministry of Agriculture says government has resolved to make a provision for 30% livestock feed subsidy for beef cattle and small stock, as well as production feed for smallholder farmers in piggery, aquaculture, apiculture and poultry from July 1st to the 31st January 2025. Furthermore, government has also introduced a 50% subsidy on acaricides and antibiotics for the control and treatment of animals for Bond, tick and Geingob disease in various regions that have been declared infected across the country. The release also says a subsidy for equipping and reticulation of water for livestock in unused government or community boreholes in communal areas that have serious water shortage has been implemented effective July 1st to 31st January 2025. The subsidized feed ingredients and veterinary requisites can be purchased at Botswana Marketing Board branches. Muchuri Court Principal Magistrate Queen Mwanga has denied Divine Anointing Church International Pastor Kgosi Mojadigo bail. Mojadigo is facing multiple counts of sexual assault, 2 of them being rape and 2 for defilement. PTV News crime reporter Ungutlule Tamare reports.
Mojadigo was remanded in custody by Principal Magistrate Queen Mwanga on the 20th of June this year, at the time when the court was preparing his bail ruling pending trial. Mojadigo is facing 2 rape charges and has the other matter, which contains 4 separate counts of defilement of a child said to be under the age of 18. The charge sheet states that on the 8th of January 2024, the applicant, being Kgosi Mojadigo, had unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl without her consent. During his submission to the court objecting Mojadigo's bail, the investigating officer said the victims of this matter, including those of the other 2 matters, are said to be underage and ushers at the accused church, and that the other victim, who is 16 years, and as a result of Mojadigo's act of sexual assault to her, she is pregnant. The investigating officer also told the packed court that she is following leads in Francistown to interview potential witnesses, especially at a certain guest house where some of the defilement activities took place. She said potential witnesses at the guest house are also said to be members of Mojadigo's church. Upon ruling on Mojadigo's application for bail, Principal Magistrate Mwanga said the court discretion to grant bail is guided by several grounds, amongst them being whether or not, when the accused is granted bail, he will not interfere with the investigations or witnesses. Mwanga denied Mojadigo bail, saying the matter is highly sensitive. Magistrate Mwanga says Mojadigo is the founder and leader of the congregation, therefore he might interfere or find a way to compromise the investigations in this matter. Mwanga also informed the accused Mojadigo that the investigations of this matter requires time and to be treated with caution, without potential intimidation of church members by their leader. She says the interests of justice do not warrant a bail admission to the accused at this point. We condemn what Mojadigo is alleged to have done.
Because this time is one of their own who is being accused.
Magistrate Mwanga ordered that the accused Mojadigo be further remanded in custody and to appear before court on the 17th of this month. Ungutlule Tamare, BTV News, Muchudi Magistrate Court.
It is time for sport with Ntabuhan Sebatlela. Ntebo.
Hello, Thomas.
How are you, ma'am?
Can you speak to this result?
Which result?
The Zebras and Mozambique encounter.
What is there to speak about, ma'am?
I want you to speak.
But we spoke at 6 o'clock, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No, but is it about Mozambique or is it about football and Zebras?
No, actually, I don't know what you guys were expecting because Mozambique and
No, you
Botswana.
didn't answer me.
Let me say something first. Mozambique and Botswana, if you look at their history from 2008 to date, they have had 8 encounters, and Mozambique won 4, and Botswana won 2. So, are you surprised?
Weren't we beaten by Lesotho as well?
No, we drew.
We drew with Lesotho. Isn't that as good as being beaten?
No.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Komozoma Pani. Now, Botswana Tonight Sports News follows with me in Tabuhan Sibetlela. The national football team, the Zebras, have been knocked out of the 2024 Hollywood Best COSAFA Cup after a 3-1 loss to Mozambique in the final game of Group A. The Zebras were the first to score through Tebogo Kopelang on the 20th minute. Mozambique then managed to get back into the game courtesy of Mohamed Chemia Ferrari Jr. braced with a late equalizer in the first half and a thunderous strike on the 65th minute, while Edmundo Candido's stoppage time strike ensured that Mozambique finished at the summit of Group A with 5 points and qualify for the semi-finals.
Oh, we're so happy. It's a week for the group. As you said in pre-match, I said that we're going to win, we're going to pass. I believe in this job that we're doing just to developing this players. It wasn't easy, so I told them to be patient because, as you see, Botswana scored it first, and then so we go behind the result. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see these guys under 23 qualify to semi-final.
We have played a very good first half with a new system. We were very positive, particularly when we defend. We defend very high. It was very interesting. For sure, we deserve to lead during the first half. Unfortunately, we took a red card. I'm not sure that our player deserve 2 yellow cards in this match, but okay, we have to accept the decision of the referee, even if the decision is wrong. And the second half, we try to maintain a consistent attacking form. It is why we got some opportunity also and to score, but okay, congratulations to my player. They didn't give up. They fight until the end, and okay, we are disappointing tonight because for sure regarding the first half, we know very well that we had the opportunity to qualify, but football is like this sometimes.
And lastly, the winners of the National Youth Under-25 Bowling Championships, which were held in Johannesburg over the weekend, will represent Botswana at the World Youth Championships to be held next year in Australia.
The 2-day singles bowling championship attracted 24 bowlers from Gaborone, Jwaneng and Orapa. The ladies category was taken by Kutlore Bagetse, who was in the lead coming from day 1, winning gold, while Tepo Mapane came second, claiming silver. Ayana Mohammed settled for bronze in 3rd place.
I'm very happy that I won first place. In doing so, I was practicing every weekend. The coach Sako Gaborone did provide the tips on how to play singles, so I'm really thankful for them. And I'm very happy that I'll be representing Botswana next year in the Under-25 Youth Championships. The games started the tournament were very tough. Like I said, practice makes perfect, so I just make sure I'm always by the jack.
The clubs have registered very low numbers of girls participating in the sport, and we're very concerned about that. We therefore encourage parents to develop their children's interest in the sport. In the men's singles, Thabo Makopa, who was also in the lead from day 1, won gold, while Rudisang Malebogo won silver, and Edwin Nyoka completed the podium positions, settling for bronze. I encourage youth to join the sport as it will help them avoid bad habits such as the use of drugs. I always practice during my free time on weekends. That's why I put up a good display today.
Today, like every weekend. ka go sana se se ke sira
tota se motho a ka se buang ke gone gore ha o lebeletse dipalo tse dintsi mo jwaneng ke yone the hub kana le helo la re ba bona hala bana le ileng gore le thopilwe mo Botswana go nna lone le ileng gore banana.
Jwaneng has been chosen to be the hub of youth bowling, training, as well as hosting all youth tournaments.
Hala ka re itse gore re ba bona ke mo ileng gore re kgobokanya bana ba ba tswang ko mahelong a harologaneng gore ba to go kopana ba re jaanong tournament ma etso hala ka Botswana ke yone ileng gore ne re tshwaretse yone tournament ya banana ba rona mo Botswana.
The winning clubs will soon start preparing for the World Youth Championships. Tatarana, BTV Sports, Jwaneng.
And from the sports desk, that was all I had for you this evening. Until we meet again tomorrow, same time. Now, back to Khomozo to remind you of our leading top stories. Maliji.
Thank you so much, Ntebu. I think I gave you an assignment last year. I reminded you at the beginning of this year. Let's get the footballing people in studio.
I'll revisit my files.
Please, let's do that. That was Ntebu giving us the latest in sport. Let's take a final look at stories later in the way this evening. The President, Dr. Masisi, arrives in Namibia for a 3-day working visit. Okavango Research Institute advocates for capacitation of communities to maximize tourism benefits. And in sport, Zebras knocked out of the COSAFA Cup following a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Mozambique. Up next is the weather update. BTV News, Siganyarona, #BW Mindset Change.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather forecast brought to you by Lydia White-Home. Today we observed clear skies with warm afternoon temperatures over most parts of the country. Looking at the current satellite image, clear skies are visible over most parts of the country. We're expecting clear skies over the entire country with possibility of fresh to strong winds over Ganze, Kalahari and southern districts. Therefore, the public is advised to take necessary precautions. In the morning, we're expecting cold temperatures over Ganze, Kalahari and northeast between 5 and 7 degrees Celsius. Also expecting mild temperatures between 8 and 10 degrees Celsius. In the afternoon, we're expecting warm temperatures over the entire country ranging between 26 and 28 degrees Celsius. As for the Sadek region, showers expected over Port Elizabeth with 20 degrees Celsius. Maseru and Manzini, we're expecting clear skies with 25 degrees Celsius over Manzini and 17 degrees Celsius over Maseru. Antananarivo and Beira expecting partly cloudy conditions with 25 degrees Celsius over Beira and 19 degrees Celsius over Antananarivo. Lusaka and Harare expecting clear skies with 21 degrees Celsius over Harare and 25 degrees Celsius over Lusaka. Jerusalem and Blantyre expecting patches of clouds with 22 degrees Celsius over Blantyre and 30 degrees Celsius over Jerusalem. That's the weather forecast. Good night.